Ladies and gentlemen,
Welcome to Kill Talk Radio, another source for sex and sexuality. Hosted by Livid the Dreamcatcher, formerly known as Humphrey Bonehard, and special guests. Live from a living area in small big town Connecticut. Don't just do it, kill it. Kill Talk Radio.
I'm very interested to see where this conversation is going to go. Neither of my counterparts have come prepared to the table. So we're going to see just how effective.
I'm mentally prepared.
Mentally prepared. It's the same thing she said. Mentally prepared. Everybody's mentally prepared. All right, we're going to see.
This for days.
All right, well.
That's what I see.
Okay, so we're pretending to be ready. All right.
So are you calling us unprepared from last week?
Because what?
I thought it went well, and yet here you are calling us out saying that we're not prepared.
Last week's conversation went very well, actually. Nothing but positive
and both
feedback.
of us came to the table with the exact same things ourselves.
All the people that watched, all the people that we shared the video with, or everyone has had nothing but positive feedback from last week's conversation. So, I'm grateful for that. But we're going to see. We're going to see if mental preparation is enough to educate and entertain.
I want you to know I was prepared with my bottle of Tito's, my ice cold bottle of Tito's, but, I had to go and get a relief bottle.
But what had happened was...
Because now the bottle I have is hot.
But what had happened was...
Because the old bottle that was cold was...
What had happened was I was mentally prepared, too. And then everyone decided to show up late. So my mental preparation was altered. So I had to change my mode of motivation.
Can I ask a question?
Tito's.
So I had to go get me some Tito's.
Can I ask you a real question?
Yes, please do, sir.
Do they have a bigger bottle of Douce? Because this bottle don't last.
You're not lying.
It lasts about 10 hours.
They do have the answer.
And that includes sleeping.
The answer to your question, that part. Because I fell asleep twice today already.
I saw you good. I thought I was going to sneak out the crib, put you on the couch.
Yeah, fell asleep twice. There is a bigger bottle. Answer to your question is yes. They do make a bigger bottle. But
do they have one of those deluxe club
But thanks to our president and the powers that be, the shit that's going on in our country right now has affected things such as our alcohol distribution.
You mean like we call it in our community, Rona?
That part. So the fairly friendly mom and pop liquor stores, the smaller businesses have not had their normal inventory or shipments and stuff like that because of the way things are. So they've only been getting the smaller bottles. They haven't been getting the big ones.
Our store is
I am not a fan of it at all.
Our store is not small.
I know.
It's not warehouse size, but it's definitely not one of those really small stores. You can squeeze a T-Mobile in there kind of store.
I understand exactly what you're saying, but when I say by
half a strip mall,
the size of it is fairly big. It's a very good size, but smaller business. When I say small business, I mean in terms of it being an independently owned business. It's not owned by the state. It's not a franchise. It's
understood.
It's a family-run business. It's a smaller business. So the shipments have not been. They've only got the small ones.
I did ask today about my Uncle Nearest, and they are sold out.
That's the name of it. I couldn't remember.
So when I get a bottle of Uncle Nearest, it will be in my stash spot.
Uncle Nearest.
I can't keep it near you.
Listen, I'm alcoholic. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Near you.
So especially if it's brown. Uncle Nearest has to be far away.
Not for you.
Keep Uncle Nearest as far as possible. It's cool with me.
I'm gonna have to order.
I don't even like Tito's. Tito's is nasty to me. But when there's nothing else, any alcohol will do.
I wouldn't call you an alcoholic. I would definitely call you a heavy drinker. You will prioritize priorities over alcohol. And alcoholics don't tend to prioritize priorities over alcohol. Once that line gets crossed, then you start debating on whether or not you should drink or go to work or drink and handle important business. Yeah, then we have an alcoholism problem.
Yeah. We're never gonna make it to that. Yeah. No, that's ugly.
Then again, there's such a thing called a professional alcoholic.
That too. I am absolutely a professional at everything that I do. So, being that drinking is one of the things that I do, I have to consider myself a professional alcoholic. I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? Give me a tag. I'll take it. I'll wear it. You know what I'm saying? And, I can, I function. I get everything done. I guess.
It's fine as long as you have a job that you can drink at.
Oh.
No, he's not a bartender.
Well, we know that's not the case. No, that is not the case. I have a job where absolutely drinking is not the thing to do at all. And because I've made bad life decisions sometimes, I'm dealing with that currently. But, that's a whole nother conversation to have. In the meantime, in between time, I will be mixing my alcohol today, my colors. So don't mind me if I get a little emotional in regards to the topic of discussion.
Carl Thomas.
Because that's just who I am. I'm an emotional being. I love love. And today's topic of discussion is just that. So let's go back into our normal. Let's start this thing off right. So, good day, people. Once again, welcome back to this conversation. Kill Talk Radio host. I am Livid the Dream Catcher, and I've got my two very good people by my side. My right hand man, my wing man, the Deuce, and to my left, Miss Jamie Sage. How you guys doing today?
Very good.
I'm doing wonderful. Tough topic, but I'm ready.
Oh, yes. I'm glad that he acknowledged that it's a tough topic. That makes me very warm on the inside because I know that some people are not taking it very seriously. They think that it's an easy topic, and therefore they show up without notes and without...
First of all, your warmth is from your liquor. And second of all,
fire,
bang, bang, shots fired.
Lighter.
Sound effects. Wait a minute. Let me find the gunshots. Oh, okay. All right. She comes in the game fully loaded. Okay. All right. I'll toast to that. Okay. And what else?
And just because I don't have physical notes does not mean I'm unprepared.
Okay. All right. She says she's mentally prepared. We're going to see how that goes. All right. So... like I did mention at the beginning when I first pressed record, last week's conversation was a very successful, in my opinion, conversation. I know I walked away with some valuable information that I know that I'm going to implement into my life. I absolutely, after setting up the Facebook group, absolutely got a couple of text messages saying, well, I hope you know that I'm a cat lady.
Oh, word! I got one of those too. At least one of them.
I knew they were coming for you.
I was surprised.
I didn't know. I didn't know that I knew so many cat ladies.
You should not assume.
But
out the woodwork.
Nevertheless, they were entertained. They laughed. They said that. They enjoyed the conversation, and the majority of them made it all the way through the conversation. So, kudos to that. We can toast to that, And I assured them that the conversations are only going to get better. So I'm grateful for that. And let's check the results of the poll from last week, because... As people may recall, there were some people, I'm not going to say any names or point any fingers around here that felt very, very strongly in their response to whether or not kissing is necessary. Well, okay, it wasn't specifically kissing, right?
It was
See, this
specific
is
to
where
the
I
was
feel
it
you
specifically
know,
kissing? I thought
Yeah.
it was
specifically
intimacy.
if you could
Oh.
be intimate without kissing.
have good sex.
Good
Yes,
sex
without
kissing.
kissing.
without kissing
On the lips.
on the mouth.
On the mouth, right?
Right.
You got to say that.
Okay, so let's
That's
see
not
how.
what your poll question says, though.
What
I
the
just
poll
wanna-
question say?
Absolutely. That's
What
what I
Thank you,
said.
right?
What
He
did
made
the
it
poll question?
misleading.
Because he changed his answer on the poll.
I
Because
did.
your question on the poll is misleading because it says intimacy is needed for good sex, which it's specifically kissing. And you added that one answer at the end.
That
but-
said kissing, right? Exactly.
I think we should do a repoll
Oh,
We-
repoll
because
we should do-
with the right words.
because reading is fundamental.
And
You know
so
what I'm
is
saying?
our
And no one
instructions.
wants to read. So, okay, and semantics,
Exactly.
semantics.
Right. When we need the
Right.
right semantics so that people will answer it the correct way and agree with me.
Are you serious? Even with it being misleading. All right. The poll says verbatim, is intimacy, it doesn't say kissing, it says verbatim, is intimacy required for good sex? That's what the poll question says. Would you like to read it yourself to confirm that's what it says? That's what it says. It doesn't say anything about kissing as the question. Now, there's an answer that says kissing, but the question says, is intimacy required for good sex?
And
And
what
I
we're
agree.
saying, no, but what we're saying is the initial question from last week was kissing necessary? Now, does your poll question have kissing in the question or as an option in the answer?
I feel like
Sir?
that wasn't the question.
Oh.
I feel like
I think we can go to
I
video.
I think I remember saying intimacy was necessary, and you were saying that whatever.
Do you want me to run it back for you?
Yes, please, very briefly.
Remember, because I was talking about you can kiss in other places.
Yes, I
and you
remember.
said no. You need to kiss on the mouth in order for good sex, good intimate sex.
I said okay, yes.
He said kissing on the mouth has to be a part of sex
Okay.
in order for good intimate sex. And I said you don't need to kiss on the mouth. And we went back and forth, and Jamie jumped in and chimed in, and we went back and forth some more, and then we decided we were going to have a poll question, and then Livid wrote the poll question and did not include kissing
I did.
in the question.
In the question.
Actually, when I answered,
Those are the key words.
when I answered the poll,
The question.
kissing wasn't even an option, so
Yes, it was.
It wasn't there.
And that's when
It
you
was
said,
there. I posted.
You added that,
That was-
after you said he changed his answer.
No, I did not. Those are the initial three. Those are the initial three things. I was the only person that answered the poll before anybody. It was all three, and that was my answer.
but we're moving away from the point, sir. The point is that kissing is not in the question as it was
All right.
stated. So we need a repoll.
So we need a repoll.
But you can,
Repoll.
sure enough, give us the results of the last poll. But
Okay.
in order to be accurate, we need a repoll.
So, all right. So this poll is intimacy required for good sex. The results of that poll are absolutely. The options were absolutely, not at all, and no, but kissing on the lips is.
What are percentages?
85% absolutely, 10% not at all, 5% no, but kissing on the lips is. So it's confirmed that intimacy is absolutely necessary for good sex.
Yeah, for the large part of the population.
Okay. So now I have to do a repoll because that fucks up the whole question.
Yes.
All right. I don't like the sound of that.
Do you have notes?
I don't like the sound of that. I don't think that
You want to write that down?
start all over again. But okay,
You
I'll
want me
take
to tell
it.
Apple Watch
It's
to
not
tell
we're
you?
starting all over
You want me
again.
to tell
We're
Apple Watch to
moving
text you?
Yes,
on
please
and-
take notes. Please, so we can do that again. All right. So yes, we did start the Facebook group. The Facebook group. I did change the name to the Facebook group just yesterday, just to be 100% sure that people can find it. So the Facebook group now is titled "Kill Talk Radio Presents Sex, Love, and Hip Hop." Okay, instead of just Sex, Love, and Hip Hop. All right. So everyone who's watching or listening, that's how you find us on Facebook, the Facebook group Kill Talk Radio Presents Sex, Love, and Hip Hop. All right. So for all your updates as to what we got going on, where we will be in the future moving forward in the community, the things that we'll be doing, the conversations that we'll be having, and all the people that we do not give a fuck about. All right. So this week, are y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Drum roll, please.
But we
Thank you. He did do that earlier for a split second. All right. Unconditional love versus conditional love. What is the difference? Is it necessary? What's more common? Unconditional love versus conditional love. I'm a fan of unconditional love. I hate, and hate is a very strong word, conditional love. People who love conditionally, I would rather not acquaint myself. What happened to your face?
It's been moisturized.
With it's been moisturized.
Rose gold.
Acquaint with those that live their lives providing conditional love. People that don't understand the difference in the two, I have very low tolerance for. And if someone tries to present conditional love to me, I become a track star. No, I don't wait for the gun to get shot off. I don't wait for the referee to say, ready, set, go. If I recognize conditional love is coming at me, I'm gone. So, I'm 37 years old. Both of you happen to be a little bit older than me.
Just a tad.
So, I'm very much looking forward to your perspective on this. Tell me, how do you feel? Is there a difference? If there is, how do you recognize it? And what do you prefer for your life, conditional love or unconditional love? Miss Jamie Sage.
I believe that most people don't intentionally want to conditionally love people. I think they want to unconditionally love people, but that circumstances in life lead them to have problems and then get defensive and then possibly turn their love into conditional love. I believe personally, for my preference, I want unconditional love. I think it's very hard to give it to another person, though. I think it's much easier for a mother to give it to a child or a family member than for you to actually find a significant other to love unconditionally, especially if you bring baggage to a situation.
Baggage. What
Unresolved issues from love.
unresolved issues from love. So that would make it difficult to love that person unconditionally? Or
No, for
that
you
person
to give
love- to
actual unconditional love to
give
somebody
to
else.
someone else.
Because you still hold up your guards from your past failures or what has been done to you.
Okay. So there's a very clear difference between unconditional love and conditional love.
Oh, yes.
Very clear. How do you love? How do you prefer to love?
Unconditionally.
Do you practice that
Yes, sir.
with everyone or with
No.
with different in
Well,
different
I
ways,
feel
different
like
people, different ways?
everyone that's truly in my circle, like, I love them unconditionally, but I don't let everybody in
Why is that?
because I wouldn't want to not unconditionally love people.
Why not just love everybody unconditionally?
Everybody doesn't deserve it.
Thank you.
Whoa.
Ooh, I like that one.
Wait a minute. That sounds like hate
That was
on
not
every level. Why? Oh, you're gonna have to preach for this one. Why do you feel that everyone does not deserve unconditional love?
I think when I say everyone, no one. I wouldn't say that no one deserves unconditional love, but no one is entitled to unconditional love from any one person. Like, I don't have to love you unconditionally. I choose to. There's nothing that you've done in your life or in our adult lives that would make me pull back my unconditional love for you. But if you started some tomorrow, which was, I don't know, really truly grimy, I'd at least have to put it on pause. But we have never crossed that bridge. We've never even had an argument in our adult lives. We've had disagreements,
Right.
but we never had an argument in our adult lives.
Right.
So I can love you unconditionally. But like I said, if one day you flip the script and it wasn't for a medical reason or a huge life event, yeah, I can pull back. I would hate to even think that that's a possibility. But as humans, I recognize that is a possibility, that something could happen and I have to pull back. Like, I'm sure we've all been in love. We fall in love with, well, in our cases, maybe the opposite sex, but it's a special someone to us. That's the best way to say it. And they reveal themselves not to be who we thought they were, or they changed, and we pull back. You may love that person, but it's no longer unconditional, using that word. As Jamie said, the love that we have for our children, it should be unconditional till they get grown.
Oh.
When they get grown, then again, you can still love them, but you can't show them unconditional love. You can't keep kicking me in my ass, and I'm still, oh, come on, don't worry about it.
Oh. Really?
I mean, don't parents kick kids from the nest? I mean, if it was unconditional, you'd stay there until forever. Keep screwing up, messing up, doing the wrong things. Yeah, I will love you forever, but I can't show you unconditional love forever.
But that's tough love. Instead, like in a situation where you need to give somebody tough love, it's not, you do love them unconditionally, and that's why you love them enough to give them tough love.
Right.
Otherwise, you would just not love them.
But is that really unconditional love then?
Tough love, yes.
No, is if you decide to pull back on the level of love that you give this person, doesn't that take it from unconditional love into a condition?
But when you, Mr. Unconditional love, find that somebody's trying to give you conditional love and you turn around and are a track store, what happens to your unconditional love for that person?
Oh.
Who's prepared now?
Cricket? We got a cricket sound effect? I need a cricket sound effect. Mr. Engineer?
The voice of reason.
I mean, but if you don't love them in the first place, then
No.
But
we're
you
saying
loved
did
them
love in
until
the
you
first
noticed they were
what I'm
conditionally loving you.
Well, I will say this. Look, and I had to learn this. I mean, I said it, but then I had to learn it from myself. by experiencing it. You know, I unconditionally love people. But if they take you to the point where you're no longer loving yourself unconditionally, and you're showing them more love than you are for yourself, and it's hurting you mentally, physically, financially, whatever, and it's just physical, and it's hurting you, then that unconditional love needs to stop. Now it's on a condition.
Okay.
Good job.
So there can be an expiration date for unconditional love.
I hate to say it, I hate to feel it, I hate to think it,
But yes.
but yes, absolutely.
I think many couples that are divorced that still have a very good relationship with each other, especially when children are involved, are because they truly unconditionally loved each other and they realize we just don't work together, but I love you and I want you to be happy, so you should go do your thing. And that's, you can still unconditionally love some person and not want to be with them and not be actively in love with them.
I agree with that part. That makes very 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 much sense. So, okay. So this week it's a perfect time to have this conversation as well. Have you guys been keeping up with the trending topics in the news outside of Donald Trump and COVID? Other things? Have you guys been keeping up?
You're talking of social topics, right?
Of course.
Okay.
Nothing political.
I keep up with the news topic and
actually,
world events.
Actually, this is political as well. But have you? Okay, all right. So, your boy, Mr. Incredible, Nick Cannon.
Oh,
Y'all both on. So y'all have seen what's happened this week, right?
little bit.
All right. So, the situation that he's it's pretty bad now. It's over. It's pretty much a done deal.
It's a wrap.
20 years. I didn't know that he was employed by these people for that long. 20 years he's had a relationship, a contractual relationship with Viacom and MTV and all other networks or whatever. So he got fired this week. After 20 years, all of the money and all of the attention that he's brought to these people's business, he gets fired for his opinion. For having an opinion, he gets fired. Now, does that, from these people, does that seem like unconditional love? Or is there any love involved at all? How do you have a relationship with someone, even whether it's a business relationship or a personal relationship? How do you have a relationship with someone for 20 whole years and then you just relinquish that? You cut it, you sever that just because someone told you how they felt.
Are you serious?
Does that reflect any type of love, unconditional, or it seems extremely conditional to me?
There's no love in the business world.
And when there is, it's the love of money, and the condition of the love, as long as you don't affect the money.
And in today's age where everybody is so quick to jump on people for everything, companies they don't have any loyalty to anyone because their loyalty is to the dollar.
Look what happened with Washington football team.
So there's no love. No love there.
No love.
20
No love.
years. No love there.
It's thank you.
That was conditional
Thank you,
love.
That
We
was
love
conditional.
you as long as you don't act up,
as long as you
and then we're
don't.
gonna act like we don't know you.
But it's not like he was messing with the money. His opinion wasn't going to affect their money.
Well, his opinion may have affected some of the executives. It could have affected them with sponsors, which affects with money. And they may not have wanted the public backlash and reaction, as you said. And because of what was said and where it came from in his platform, it affected. It made it to mainstream media, made it to mainstream news coverage.
Oh, for sure.
So that means there was a backlash coming. Whether they probably got out in front of it largely, or maybe not. Maybe there were sponsors who already called in. It's like, cancel. That $10 million we were gonna spend on commercials. Nah, don't do that. We're gonna pull back.
But this dude has made them so much money. He's got one show that's over $1 billion. One show. And he's been with them for 20 years. He's created so many shows. How could you not love this person unconditionally?
You know what they say?
How could you not love him enough to say, okay, you got your opinion, but you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, just don't voice it no more.
What have you done for me lately? Lately, you've caused me a huge headache, which makes me nervous and uncomfortable, and you may have offended some of our team. We have to part ways. Now, I don't agree that they, at this point, from my knowledge, they should have parted ways. I feel like we went out there, apologized. There's more information that he could have learned, but they did.
So there's no love in these streets.
You know there's no love in these
No
streets.
love in these streets.
No.
Ain't that about a bitch? Why do we love it so much? I'll be damned if I give somebody 20 years of my life and they just let me go because I tell them how I feel. I'm blowing shit up.
As you probably should.
I'm blowing shit up. I'm blowing the building up. And I'm probably going to try to date your daughter so I can ruin her life so you can deal with that shit for the rest of your life. That's some bullshit. This man done did some things for them, man. And that's crazy. I didn't realize how much he did for them until I started following the story this week. I'm like, God damn, this motherfucker done been with them forever.
Nobody ever does. Nobody knows.
That shit is crazy.
What's really done behind the scenes or what role you play until it's all exposed.
And I'm sure before this week, he thought that they did unconditionally love him for everything he had done.
Right.
And they showed, no, this is business.
No motherfucking love in these streets.
Now, the question is...
That's the shirt that he needs to be selling this week. Fuck the Black Power, Black Lives Matter shit. Nick Cannon need to start selling...
No love.
Ain't no love in these streets t-shirts. Nigga, he gonna sell 1 billion of those shits on his website because that shit is real life, boy. Nick Cannon?
The question is for them
Nick Cannon.
Will they survive?
They named a whole network after this nigga.
What?
Nick Jr.
Nick Jr. was out before he was born. Stop.
They named some shit after this guy.
Nick Jr.
Got a bitch, and they let this motherfucker go.
If anything, it was Nick at night. Okay.
Either one, goddammit. Shit, that shit is unreal. He brought that's crazy. Nick, listen, man. I've been a fan. I've been a fan of Nick Cannon. You know what I'm saying? He went to high school in Charlotte. Then he grew up in San Diego. Like,
he's from Charlotte?
There's a vibration.
No
you
idea.
know what I'm saying? I got love for Nick Cannon. You know what I'm saying? He can't rap worth a damn, but you know what I'm saying? Can't knock his hustle at all. You know what I'm saying? And he stayed true from my perspective. He stayed true, and that's some bullshit.
The only person I can actually think of who really, really, truly bounced back hard,
Mike Vick.
No, even though he was crucified, and I could block off 15 minutes of this conversation, I won't do that for him. But he was crucified unjustly, I think.
Yes, he was. I agree.
And I don't mean that him harming dogs was the right thing. I just mean that the amount of pressure and stress and the example they wanted to set by blowing him up, and the amount of money the state and federal government spent on prosecuting him so he can go to jail for 2 years. That's the amount of money we spent on Pablo Escobar. It just does not make sense.
Not at all.
When the state government spent $3.5 million and the federal government spent whatever they spent, I can see my tax money going to better places.
Right.
But actually, the only person I could think of who bounced back hard from really coming off the rails and saying some wild was Mel Gibson.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, he still ain't bounced back. The fuck?
What? What are you talking about? My
He
man is
still
still
ain't
making
bounced
movies. And
of course, he's gonna still make movies, man. Ain't
I mean-
nobody fucking making D movies straight to fucking DVD and halfway stream movies. Ain't nobody watching Mel. We ain't gonna get into this conversation right now.
We'll hit the
Mel
Google later.
Gibson.
We'll hit the
Fuck.
Google and see how much money
Mel
he's
Gibson.
earned.
He made one movie,
since.
that Gringo movie. That was the only movie that since he felt.
But he's supposed to be retired.
Since they crucified him, that was the only movie that was halfway something, and that was a piece of shit movie too. But anyway, all right.
for it.
So I just feel bad for Nick Cannon. I mean, I don't feel bad for him, but it is some bullshit the way they try to handle him or the way they're handling him. But he's gonna be all right either way. All right. So
He still got his alimony.
Jesus, Lord Jesus. But so it's confirmed. There ain't no love in these streets. Nick, I'm riding with you, bro. All right. So what type of love is more common? Is unconditional love or conditional love more common in our everyday society? Whoever wants to answer first.
If we include the love we have for our children and the love we have for our mothers and fathers, family, close family members, I'll say unconditional. And if you're just talking between folks who have met each other along the way, then I'll say conditional is more common.
I'm going to agree with that one.
Conditional love is more common?
In relationships, I think that in families, so like in most families, it's unconditional love, but in relationships, it's more conditional love than unconditional love. I think everybody's looking for unconditional love, but again, I don't think that many people know how to give it or receive it.
That part I agree with.
Yeah,
I think.
How many people have tried to change you over the years?
Ooh,
It's like, I love you. I love you, but I want you to be this person. I want you to do this. I want you to live this way. I don't want you to think this way anymore.
Lord Almighty, unreal.
The HB Chronicles.
20 of them will be watching this in 2 days.
Sorry, I didn't mean to call nobody out.
Unreal. But so I agree with what you said as far as people not knowing how to give it or receive the unconditional love part. I disagree with the part about in family and that unconditional love is more common, because I totally think that in family relationships, I think that's a much higher level of conditional love. I think there are very few relationships that actually love each other unconditionally. I think conditional love is the home, or families are the home for conditional love. I feel like that's the place exactly where people they feel very comfortable in telling you that they want you to be what they want you to be, and they'll love you if you do that. And if you're not that, they don't fuck with you.
I guess that goes back to my statement is, people love their children unconditionally until they get grown, or until they start to feel grown. So they start to get into their, late teens, and they start having their own mind, wanting to go their own direction. We've all heard of, I want to be this. Well, if you're this, then I'm disowning you. That's not unconditional.
Exactly. And that happens well before you're an adult. That happens.
Well, look at how many.
That happens sometimes even before teenage years.
You're right.
So, and I feel like that's the most vital time in life that you should be loving especially your children. And so let's not talk about the sibling relationships, because those get even more volatile, I'm sure. But just parent to child, those years are the years that matter the most, that you should be loving your kids unconditionally. And I don't think most parents are. I really don't. I think that the majority of parents out here in the world, especially now with social media and having so much activity going on in life, that there's they're passing more judgment on their kids. They're comparing their kids more often to other things. They're seeing the things that they're seeing in the world, and they're treating them accordingly. I think unconditional love is almost gone when it comes to families and households. That's my perspective.
I say like what Dwayne Wade expresses for his daughter, that's unconditional.
For sure.
Now, I don't know what's in his head. I don't know what happens out in their household, but I know what they put out there in these streets, right, and what they put out in the universe, and that's showing unconditional.
I agree.
Who you want to be, who you feel you are, I'll accept it, and we'll move forward.
I agree. And with that, so how many celebrities or people I hate that people go when they give examples of things. It's not a bad thing all the way across the board, but so many people when they give an example of things happening in life, they go straight to a celebrity or a popular person instead of anybody else. But just how many times have you heard, just in general conversation, just being out in the world, have you heard or come across a conversation that an adult says something like, "Oh, if my child is gay, or if my child is this, my child is that, I'm disowning them," or "No, ain't no child of mine going to be like that."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a common thing, I think.
I think it's less common nowadays because people are letting go of the reason, like, I think it's sad that a lot of parents chose to give their children conditional love over the years, and that when they came out to them that they would say, well, then I can't love you anymore because of whatever reason that parent found. And it's sad that you were raised by a parent who gave you conditional love and that they stopped their love for you. But I think more parents nowadays are more accepting, and that they don't do that. I couldn't imagine as a parent ever telling my child I didn't love them because of something they were doing. Like, I love you no matter what. You're going to fuck up in life. I know that. That's life.
Right. I agree with that part. But it is common. It's not, that's not across the board. That approach is not all the way across the board. I think from my travels and my experiences, from me living in so many places that I've lived across the world, I'm going to go ahead and say that the majority of parental love is conditional love. That's what I'm going to say. And that's from me living on the East Coast, big cities, to small towns, to the West Coast, around white people, around black people, around Spanish people. I'm going to say that the majority of parental love is conditional love. And I think that shit is affecting the way our world moves forward.
You know what? I'll agree with you, and if you find my next statement is incorrect, please tell me your perspective. But I'll just take our own father for example. I feel like from the time that I can remember, he and I had conversations early on, at least 7th grade, 8th grade. It was always, I'll support you no matter what you decide to do, but know the risk. I remember when he taught me about, when he was exposing my mind to why I shouldn't be a drug dealer in the street, without saying why I shouldn't be a drug dealer in the street, knowing, look, if you decide to sell drugs,
this is what you got to deal with.
This is what you got to deal with. You got to worry about cops. You got to worry about other drug dealers. You got to worry about getting robbed. You people think it's a lot of money, but you're working sun up to sun down. Mm-hmm. This is what you're going to be doing.
Right.
Now, he could have just said, don't sell drugs.
Right.
And left it at that. But he also, he threw it in and, he'll support me. And I know I've heard him say it to you, he support both of us, whatever decisions we decide to make in life.
Right.
And try to guide us and help us find that. And maybe that led to our open-mindedness, period, on life.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you're open-minded, and then what you feel is unconditional love. Because there will be plenty of people who will say, I love my children unconditionally. But there's one thing, like you said,
right.
Don't be gay.
Right.
That's that one thing. Other than that, and that child turns out not to be gay anyway.
Right.
So we never really crossed that bridge to find out if it's really unconditional love.
Yep. Right. Right.
Or I love my child, but my child's got to be a doctor.
Right. That happens a lot too.
And
a lot of foreign households.
A lot of foreign households and a lot of communities. Or I'll take it to dating. Don't date a black American. Dominicans, don't date black guys.
That part.
Don't date white women. And we all have our own taste, but we hear our parents, we hear our communities, we hear it in our voices in our head. Yeah. And what our fear winds up being is what our views are shaped as, well, if I go right, then I'm gonna hit that conditional love roadblock, and I don't want to go right.
Hit that.
So mentally, I train myself always go left or go straight.
Yep.
Stay away from that block on the right.
Yep. And then you create justification in your head. You give yourself a reason that don't. It's not a real reason. I've experienced that too. I've experienced, women, white, all races, but more in a larger capacity of white women saying things like they don't date these races because of this, and it's all bullshit at the end of the day. But that's what they've created in their head because they know, or they don't know, but like you said, the parents or people in their family, traditionally or whatever, have put something in the back of their head that says, if you go outside of this circle, we're not fucking with you no more. You know what I'm saying? So instead of saying, I want to love anybody, or I want to love whoever I want to love, or I want to love specifically a black person or whatever, Spanish, whatever, I'll just be like, nah, I don't date. I don't date outside of my race. I don't like those races because of this, and this, which is all some bullshit. But that's why it is that fear. They're carrying it around because they've been programmed to believe that, or they know that they don't want to experience that conditional love feeling. That shit hurts. That shit don't feel good at all. You know what I'm saying? And if you get it at a young age, like if they beating you in the head with it at a young age, that shit is crazy, man. That's the shit that breeds sociopaths and motherfucking serial killers and shit like that. It's that shit.
I guess on the extreme, man. Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. That's why.
That's no love. That's not even conditional love. A lot of times that is shown no love.
And I would absolutely love to raise the argument that conditional love is equivalent to no love.
Well, it is because it keeps you. It's always like a torment on whether can I do this and they'll still love me, or if I do that, will they still love me? And you never feel secure in your love.
Yeah, that shit is fucked up. We can agree on that part, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right. So you say that you feel that what love is more common?
I feel like if we include the love of children, and some family, then unconditional is more common. But if we excluded them from the conversation, then absolutely, hands down, conditional love is the most common love that we'll find in our society.
Okay. Because I was about to say, we would have to include, if you were to include parental love, you would have to prove that it's unconditional because
it's not always.
But it is unconditional until it's not. It's unconditional until it's not. So, like I said, in that my example, if when we've all heard somebody say, "Oh, if my child was gay, then they're out," whatever. Until that child comes up gay, they unconditionally love them. If that child one day decided to be homosexual, be a transsexual, to have that kind of change, or have those kind of people around them, then that conditional love will start to peer out. But there's from right now, there's no reason.
Right.
It's kind of like somebody saying, if you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. Well, if you never hit me, then I'll never hit you back.
Right. But if you tell me as a parent that I love you no matter what, unless you're gay. If you say that to me, like
you don't love
me
unconditionally.
It doesn't matter what you're showing me until I tell you that I'm gay. That's very clear that you don't love me unconditionally.
Yeah, and your point.
That's going to affect me way more than you at that moment deciding to stop loving me unconditionally.
I agree.
So that's all right. So that's a whole nother conversation.
Just to make my point, it's more common for me, to hear from adult to adult. That's how they feel, and less common for me to hear that's what I told my child. Like, I told my child, if you ever came up gay. No, they may tell their family, their friends, that's how they feel, but it doesn't get said to they not necessarily get said to the child.
Okay, I got you. So, conditional love is the most common. You agree with that?
Yeah. Okay. I have to say, unfortunately, I wish it was different.
Right.
But
it's not.
It's not.
There ain't no love in these streets.
That's why my circle's small.
That part.
Gotta keep them small.
My circle's a triangle. That shit. You know what I'm saying? All right. Last thing. Last question. Topic is last for this topic. All right. This is the big one, though. This is the big one. Is unconditional love necessary for a successful intimate relationship?
Yes.
Say it a
Well,
little bit
I
louder.
mean,
Say it a little bit louder.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna stop there.
But no, you had
No,
a
because
but.
what the end of the question threw me off there. Like
Okay.
successful
intimate relationship with a significant other. So, I love that relationship, not a sibling relationship, not a friend relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend.
Sexual relationship.
Yeah, husband, wife relationship. Well, no, because it doesn't have to be sex. I mean, like a committed building relationship. Like a significant other person that you're planning on being with for a while, or you're with and you know you're gonna grow with, build with. Is unconditional love necessary for that type of relationship?
To be successful, yes.
I say no. I say.
Who's to fight with you?
Sheesh.
I say
I need some type of. All right, let's hear this. Let's hear what the Deuce has to say, people. Oh man, this is getting interesting. He had to pour a drink for himself for that one. Oh man, let's go. Show me what you got. All right.
I can't get to my Tito's right now.
Okay,
It's a little bit far away right now. I can see where it's hiding in the freezer, but I can't get to it right now. So
good thing you don't need it.
Do say it starts with a D.
I'll keep you nice and warm. It's your name in French. So
Facts?
yeah. You see, he's got a double cross on it. All right. Yeah, talk to him. Talk to the people. Explain that part.
I think, honestly speaking, I think that most relationships, at least most modern relationships, are not built on unconditional love. Somebody compromises. And believe me, I believe that in any relationship, there are compromises because you're taking two people who are different, who have a lot of similarities, which brought their relationship to together, but they are still two different people. Mm-hmm. And so there are compromises along the way that there should be. I don't believe you'll ever have a relationship where there's no compromise. But I believe that there is a line where you've compromised too much, or you may have compromised some significant things about yourself because you like the person, you care for the person, you love the person, you think they're a good match, you don't want to be alone, the sex is good, we had a kid, my mom likes him, my dad likes him, they're successful, man, I can see we're a great team, all these things. Now, I believe unconditional love relationships are the best relationships. They go the furthest. They have the strongest bonds. They flower the most. You can see when two people are just glowing together. But I don't believe that is the most common between people. I don't believe that it's exclusive. I believe that there are a lot of folks out there in conditional relationships, or people, and as you have experienced, because I've experienced, you get into the relationship, and now we're in the relationship, we're 2 months in, 6 months in, a year and a half in. You know what? That thing about you, I never really cared for it. Would you mind changing? Now we are invested. Now I got to look at you like, dang. You want me to change this thing that you knew who I was day one, week one, month one, whatever, early on. And now I got to decide, do I allow you this condition? Now it's not unconditional anymore.
Okay.
And it could, and I'm sure I've exuded this as well. I put this out there on someone else. I don't think it's as common with me because I'm pretty open-minded. I'm pretty easy flowing. But I I have to admit I have a frailty. I am human. So I do some human things.
Okay. So you're saying that unconditional love is not necessary for a successful relationship?
I believe there are plenty of successful relationships that have and don't have unconditional love. That maybe they decided together, they might be a good political power. They might be a good financial power. They might raise very intelligent kids. We may look good on TV. We may be able to buy our dream houses if we hook up together. Or we just flow. You happen to have some things in common. I don't want to be by myself, and let's flow. But I believe, and like I said, I believe.
That make the relationship successful just because you can create things within the relationship? Like, yeah, we can make good-looking babies. That don't mean we fucking successful. We can make money together. That don't mean we successful. As a relationship, it doesn't mean as a couple we're successful. Doesn't mean our relationship is a success just because we both know how to save money.
It means that we were able to, and to me, a successful relationship means being able to stand past time. We're able to make it through. We were able to make it 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. There are a lot of folks.
I made it through with some of my relatives, and I don't like them motherfuckers at all. The fuck?
But you must be loving them unconditionally, even though they're loving you conditionally.
What I'm saying? That's because I love unconditionally. You know what I mean? But
do they love you back unconditionally?
Hell to the fuck no.
Oh, so again.
So it's not a success, but we still done made it 25 years.
But you don't talk anymore?
No, of course we still talk, but that doesn't mean we're successful.
Successful because
our relationship is a success. So, I got relatives, I got old friends that I can still communicate with and still be a part of their lives, and it's decades going on, but that doesn't mean that our relationships are a success.
I guess success is what you define it as.
That's absolutely true in every regard, but I mean, there's still certain things that are kind of that should be clear, like in a relationship. Like our relationship is a success. You know what I'm saying? We can sit down, we can communicate with each other, share ideas, and do everything. We support each other 100%. Our love is unconditional. Can't say the same about the conditional relationships. The conditional relationships are not as much. The conditional relationships are far and few between. It's, okay, I contacted this person for a specific reason. I hang out with this person for a specific reason. I can't go to this person for everything. I can't go to that person for everything. You know what I'm saying? So,
does that make it bad?
Even
because you can't go to them for everything?
Does it make it bad? No. Does it make it a success? Don't think so. You know what I'm saying? So, if I was married to someone just because we were both good at numbers and it made sense, just because life economically, we're taught or trained that finances are a big deal. You want to have financial stability and that type of thing.
And if that's the relationship goal,
and we're both good at that.
If that's the relationship goal and they hit it, isn't that success in their eyes? You and I may feel like they should have more, but if they feel that they are a success because they've hit their goals, they've hit their marks, it's successful to them.
Yeah. Individually, yes. No. Individually, yes, but as a relationship, I don't think so.
And the question was specifically intimate partnerships. So you can't say that's a great, if we're a power couple because we're great on business, but then we're going to both go do whatever we do behind closed doors. You don't have an intimate relationship. That's a business partnership. Yeah. The world may see us as a partnership and think that we are, but if that's not really... And in order to have a truly successful relationship, you can't say, well, I'm going to love this person, but if they do this, I can't love them. Or if they do that, I can't love them. You'll have to be able to love them through anything and forgive them through whatever happens. And if you can't do that, you're not going to have a truly successful, intimate relationship.
So I agree. I'll agree there. And Jamie, you're absolutely right. I did not factor in the intimate part. Absolutely. I think that unconditional love will create a stronger intimate bond, but I do I still feel that there are conditional relationships that will have a strong, intimate bond. But I believe that I think that relationships who have unconditional love will have a stronger bond. And I think we all strive for that. I think most people strive for that. Yeah, that unconditional love. Except me for me. I mean, I know if, like I said, we said last week, we're both out here dating. I want somebody who's going to love me unconditionally. Right. I want somebody who will respect me unconditionally. And that does not mean you can't critique me or give me advice or say, hey, you maybe think about going left and not going right in this situation. Mm-hmm. Just what it means to me is you don't try to change who I am at the core. Right. Unless it is, I'm a sinking ship, I'm trying to think of an example on the extreme, but we talked about being an alcoholic earlier. And unless I am drinking to the point where it is affecting my daily life and affecting my priorities, and now you're trying to change who I am at the core because you're trying to make me a better person, and I am willing to accept that help because I also have to be willing. Mm-hmm. Then I'm back at, yes, unconditional love will have the closest intimate relationship, mm-hmm. but I do believe that conditional love can also have an intimate relationship. And as you said, what if one person feels it unconditionally and the other person feels it conditionally? Right. Can they still be successful?
No. Not at all.
Preach, brother.
I'm still waiting to find out what happens to the person with the unconditional love when the person with the conditional love comes along and gives conditions. You already love them yeah, but you already love them unconditionally. So you stop your unconditional love?
I still love you unconditionally. We just won't be together.
We just love you from afar.
Nah, it doesn't have to be from afar. You're not gonna be my significant other. I still love you. Like it doesn't have to be from afar.
But now your unconditional love has a condition in it.
It doesn't have to be from afar. No. My love type doesn't stop. I still love you unconditionally. You're not gonna be the person that I'm gonna build my future with, knowing that you love me conditionally. I'm gonna still love you unconditionally, but now that I know that you're a conditional lover, there's no reason for us to build our lives together because you're a conditional lover. I'm an unconditional lover.
So, brother, do you think that most people will jump out? Most people will do what you do? No. Or will most people try to stick it out?
Most people will absolutely try to stick it out. Because like Jamie said, most people don't even know how to accept or give unconditional love.
That's correct.
So they don't even see it as clear as the people that do. I've been an unconditional lover since forever. I see that shit. As soon as I see it, I'm gone. I've tried to stick out relationships just because I felt like a person had so much potential, and I felt like this person was a good listener or this person was a good learner, a good student, and I felt like, this person would learn over time how to, especially if they was around me, that they would learn how to love unconditionally because I'm showing them. But it didn't happen, and I'm like, gotta go. You know
I would also say that there are also relationships where that may have been the low point in the relationship, and then it may come back. Now, it's up to you, and I know you won't, just because of your life experience to this point, stick it out for 2 years to see if it comes back.
Hell no.
But you must acknowledge that there is a chance that it could come back, but your choice is, I'm not going to waste those 2 years to see if it comes back.
Yeah, I'm not going to wait. Hell to the fuck no. There's too much life to live. Wait for somebody else to learn some shit? Nah, hell no. All right, I thought that was the last question. This is the last one. But it's a yes or no question. Ain't no answers involved. It's just, there's no descriptions or, you ain't got to give a whole paragraph.
Supporting details necessary?
Yes or no, and then we move on. Have you ever experienced unconditional love from anyone other than a relative?
Yes.
Yes.
Damn.
Would the answer for you be no?
We're saying relationship-wise, or we're saying any individual? Because Relationship. Oh, okay. Because we
Yeah,
already
yeah,
established
yeah,
that you and I have unconditional love. So
I know. I'm
Besides,
sure.
no, he said besides a
relationships.
relative.
okay,
Relationships.
all right. Just double checking on it. I want to make sure I wasn't thrown under the
not
bus.
friends, because I know we all have at least one friend that loves us unconditionally. I'm okay. Look, I got to be very, very clear for the people listening. Have you ever experienced unconditional love from anyone other than a relative in a intimate sexual partnership and from a person with I don't see because you got to be so
No,
clear,
I got you.
You know
The answer is yes.
Say this relationship because any type of relationship is a relationship, but
The answer is yes.
okay, yes, you have. Okay, have you?
Yes.
I haven't.
Can I throw something back out with Jamie? Well, since he hasn't, have you still walked away? Because I've walked away from people who have loved me unconditionally and still thought, nah, it's not a good idea.
Not gonna work.
Yep.
I was like, I love them in that way, but there are other factors into the life, that said, no, don't. Like I can think of somebody who I absolutely was in love with and who was in love with me, but I saw that I didn't when they were around me, they gave too much. They weren't a better person. They gave too much over to me.
Okay.
And
too much power. They relied on you too much.
Yeah, they turn their life off.
Ooh.
And to me, that's
they were psycho. They were psycho.
I don't want to say psycho.
They were psycho killers.
But there's potential.
Oh.
But now,
okay, I would have walked away from that too. Yeah, you can love me all as unconditionally as you want. If you're gonna be crazy, I'm still gonna keep it pushing.
Shoot, I didn't even think about the crazy ones. So let's not go there, okay? I wasn't there. I wasn't there. But yeah,
I wonder what that feels like. I'm looking forward. I'm sure I'll get it one day in life. This unconditional love thing.
Like I was thinking, somebody I had in my mid-20s, when I was around, did we work? Nope. Did we try to get better? Nope. Damn. When we took a break, we found a job. We back in school. I came back around again. Job? No, all my time is for deuce. All my time is deuce. Yeah. That's what I'm focused on for the most part.
Right.
When we get married, everything else just goes to the side, and then that becomes like this. I'm a drug, and if I'm a drug, then I need to pull myself away because that's not healthy.
Hell yeah, because they're gonna catch you. You're gonna catch them looking out your window one night, or looking in your window one night.
On the third floor, right?
Yeah. Like, how do you even get up here? Hanging from a tree and shit. Yeah, be careful. All right, well, man, it's a serious thing, man. It's a serious topic. It's one of my favorite things. You know what I'm saying? The idea of unconditional love is what motivates me. It's one of the things that I advocate for, and I want the world to experience, and I want to try to save the world. I don't want to save the world anymore, but that used to be a thing of mine. I wanted to save the world. But if I could save the world, one of the first things that I would give the world is a tutorial on how to love unconditionally, because I feel like unconditional love is the absolute most necessary thing, for a better world. And if everybody decided to love each other unconditionally, I believe that the world would be a better place. And unfortunately, we are a long ways away from that shit. But it does start at home. Everything does start at home. And if parents started loving their kids and relatives started loving each other unconditionally more often, like every day, I think that we would get some things accomplished. But
if I may, can I please give a rest in peace to Congressman John Lewis, who was an early on freedom fighter, who fought for civil rights for a very long time. One of the first people to get hit in the head over when they marched on with Martin Luther King. They marched over the bridge down in Selma. Yes, sir. And he was also the youngest person out there. And he passed away last night.
Right. Moment of silence for that. Yeah. All right. Well, listen. Did we learn anything today?
Yes.
Absolutely. Every day.
Every day. Well, fuck every day. I'm talking about today. You learn anything today?
Today, when we started recording, yes.
All right, that part.
Because I learned something earlier
Because
today.
we're here to educate and entertain here on Kill Talk Radio. God damn it. So as long as we accomplish that, everything is good to go. I don't give a fuck what you do in your room when you're reading books and searching online. God damn it. Did you learn anything from this conversation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we winning. All right, y'all. We went over a little bit. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for watching. Kill Talk Radio. I am Living the Dream Catcher. This is The Deuce, and this is Jamie Sage. And we out this bitch.
Love more.
That part.